Good afternoon from rainy Jakarta, everyone, and good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are joining us from. My name is Buyung Sudrajat, and I'm delighted to warmly welcome you all to the ASEAN Teaching English Online Conference 2025. Give me a second to share my screen, just in a moment. I hope you can all see my screen now. So, welcome to today's session. So, today is the penultimate day for the conference. How fast time flies already. I'm thrilled to welcome you all to this expert panel session with the title Adapting to Change Stories from the Field in Southeast Asia. This expert panel is brought to you in collaboration with Indonesia Technology Enhanced Language Learning, or ITEL Association. Before we start, I would like to cover a few housekeeping items. So first, please use the chat for general comments and feedback, and the Q&A box for questions to the speaker or panelists. Questions in the chat may not be picked up. Audience microphones and cameras will remain off throughout the session. Certificates of attendance are available as editable PDFs after you complete the feedback form after the session. The feedback form link will be shared at the end of the session, and Zoom participants will also find it in the follow-up email that you'll receive. For everyone's safety and well-being, please be respectful in the chat and avoid posting personal details such as email addresses or phone numbers or commercial links. If you have any safeguarding concerns, please contact safeguarding@britishcouncil.org. Please note that this session is being recorded and live streamed on multiple platforms, including Teaching English Asia Facebook page. By joining, you are agreeing to be part of this recording. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce all of you to our moderator today, and it's now my great pleasure to introduce my colleague and a good friend from ITEL, Dr. Vinita Dewi. So please join me in welcoming Vinita, and over to you.
Okay, hello, and thank you so much, Mas Buyung, for the kind introduction. Hope my voice is okay. So, hello, everyone, joining us from across the globe. I can see many of you from many different parts of Asian country and also beyond. Whether you are with us on Zoom or watching on Facebook, I can see that some of you are watching on Facebook too. A very warm welcome to you all. My name is Vinita and I'm joining from Bandung, Indonesia. Delighted to be your moderator for this session today. So today's special is pretty, the session is pretty special, as mentioned by Mas Buyung, that it is a collaboration between the British Council and ITEL, Indonesia Technology Enhanced Language Learning. Together, we'll be hearing inspiring stories from teachers and teacher educators about how they have adapted, innovated, and thrived through changes. So this will be a town hall style session, which means that it is designed to be conversational and interactive. So please, everybody, use the chat box or comments on the Facebook to share your thoughts and reflection as we go along. Before we begin to warm up, we are going to have a quick poll for you. I'm going to ask the help from E to show the quick poll, and also Grace, can you start sharing the screen to show the poll for our audience on Zoom? If you're joining on Zoom, please respond directly through the poll that appears on your screen. But if you are watching on Facebook Live, please type your answer right in the comment box. We have two questions here. The first one is, in the past 2 years, what have been your biggest challenge in adapting your teaching? Is it shifting to online and hybrid? Students' motivation, limited resources, or curriculum changes? So maybe those in Facebook, you can start typing your answer. And if you are in Zoom, you can start choose your challenges that you face a lot. Okay, you can also write on webinar chat if you wish to do so. All right, then. So maybe we can move on to the second poll. So this is the first poll. Thank you for showing the first poll. Most of you mentioned that students' motivation is the biggest challenge. I believe that many of you share the same problem. Let's see what we have in Zoom. In Facebook. Okay, everyone in Facebook, what's your most challenge? Students' motivation. Okay, so Zoom and Facebook, you agree to the same things. Now let's move on to our second questions. Are we ready? This is our second questions. Can you help me posting the second question? So the question from this for the second question is what kind of support has helped you the most? Is it during the challenges? Is it the peer or community support? Is it the school management support? Is it the CPD training, self-learning, or technology tool? Okay, if you are in Zoom, just write in the chat. And if you are in Facebook, write in the chat. And if you are in Zoom, I keep mixed up. If you are in Zoom, then answer the questions through the Zoom poll. I can see some of you also write on the chat. That's okay. Okay, so technology tools have been helping you a lot. I can see here in Facebook. Okay, we'll be waiting for your answer in Facebook. In Zoom, we can see that technology tools have given a lot of help. I think many of you agree with this, right? And then also self-learning. Yes, many of you mentioned about technology tools and self-learning. And I believe those in Facebook also agree to what we are discussing here. Thank you very much for answering the poll. So we've made our warming up activity wonderful. Looks like that you all selected almost similar, facing almost similar problems and also get the same solution. Yeah. All right, then now let's meet our panelists who will share their own story of changes and innovation. I would like to invite our panelists to turn on the camera. So we are joining today by three inspiring educators who bring unique perspective from across Southeast Asia. First, hello, Ajahn Vicky from Thailand. Welcome to our session. Ajahn Vicky is an experienced English lecturer with over 30 years of teaching in not only in Thailand, but also in Korea. Ajahn Vicky, can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, English teachers, researchers, educators from around the world. I'm speaking from Thailand, my beloved countries. And yes, like Dr. Finita mentioned, I have been teaching English for 30 years in Thailand and in Korea. And I have, participating various international education projects from the 5 English-speaking countries and some European countries. I'm currently English lecturer at Balaylat University, which is the top 6 university in Thailand and a world-class university. And thank you very much for having me today. I would like to share my personal experiences in teaching in globally and locally in Thailand. See you soon,
Okay,
everyone.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arjan. We are waiting for your sharing later. If you are from Thailand or any other part of the world, you can say hi to Arjan Vicky. Next, we have
Please say
Miat.
sawadee to me. Yes.
Next, we have
Thank
Miat,
you.
an English lecturer, educator from Myanmar. If you are from Myanmar, you can say hi to Miat. And Miat is a senior lecturer at STR Myanmar College and a former academic coordinator at the University of Bedfordshire. Miat, are you here? Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Vanita. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Minglaba. I'm Nyat, and Nyanulu is my full name. And I'm a teacher trainer and senior lecturer at STM Myanmar College from Myanmar. And firstly, I really would like to express my deepest appreciation to all the dedicated teachers here and those resilient learners across Myanmar and ASEAN, and especially those in my country in the conflict-affected areas. And I personally know that the situation could be tough and we have tons of challenges every day, but teachers always show up and give hope, and my heart and soul are with them every single day. And I really would like to appreciate British Council and ITED team for your invitation and arranging this workshop for teachers across ASEAN. But today's story, I really would like to present how experience based on my nearby classroom context I'm working, and I will surely reflect how teachers can sustain our teaching quality by integrating AI into practical classroom rather than being prohibited. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Miat. That's a very interesting introduction, and say hi to Miat, everybody. And last but not least, coming from Indonesia, Unit Tampi. She's an English teacher and also the facilitator for in-service teacher training. She's coming from Central Kalimantan, also known as Borneo Island. Ibu Yuni, can you introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you, Vinita, for the introductions. Yes, I'm Yuni Tampi. I'm a teacher like you all. Yes, I'm an English teacher from Kalimantan. It is exactly in Central Kalimantan. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here, to be part of this panel, and I will share my stories when I teach English in my area. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I like to talk with, to share with my friends from Kalimantan. Greeting from the teacher from Kalimantan, from Indonesia, and from Southeast Asia. I think that's enough from me. Thank you. Back to you, Vinita.
Ibu Yuni, and it's a very great opportunity for me to be sitting virtually among you all. Now we'll have our lightning round. All teachers will be speaking in a very short time. So they will give a short presentation, sharing their real experience and of adapting and innovating their own teaching and training context. So each speaker will have like few minutes to share the story. And I'm going to start inviting Ajahn Vicky. Ajahn Vicky, the floor is yours. And Grace, can you
Okay.
help us in sharing the
Thank you.
slides?
Thank you, Grace. Okay, I'm going to present, or share my experience with adapting to change and my real stories from the field in Southeast Asia, especially in my home country, Thailand. Yes, and next slide, please. As you know that I have a journey of 30 years in education, so I knew what the changing is, from my first beginning of my teaching journey until now, my 30 years. So I have a lot story, many stories to share with you. So I face a lot of changing, and I want to say that change isn't something to fear, but it's something to go through. Let's see the realities of change. Next slide, please. And the realities of change in Southeast Asia or in my country, number one, the curriculum shift. I am very happy that if you listen to my director, Miss Sangkhe Kong Hui Rob, the director of Language Institute, Ministry of Education, Thailand, she mentioned about the leading of change, and then she talking about change in the classroom. The teacher had to change from teaching grammar to CLT and align with CFR. That in Thailand we have started, many years ago. And this is the biggest change in Thailand because we focus on the student English communication. In the past, the student learn English with fear because they learn only grammar and they feel bored, learning English is boring. So when we change to communicative language teaching and align with CFR, so they know their skill A1 become to A2, B1 to A2 or something like this. Another thing is the cultural and linguistic diversity in the classroom. I experienced my teaching both in Thailand and in Korea. I'm going to share these topics later on. And the third one is post-pandemic transformation in teaching and learning. I think all teachers around the world, not only in Thailand or in Asia, we facing with the changing these occur that happen all over the world. And the fourth, balancing global standards with local identity. I love these topics. You know why? I want to say the big words is localization. So we teach them globally, but we have to teach them locally as well. We have to mix their knowledge together, and then we use authentic materials and knowledge from our own community connected with CLT in the classroom. And then I want to say that teaching today is not the same as it was even 5 years ago. So how can teachers stay motivated and effective? I want to say that we cannot control every change, but we can control our response and adapt with creativity and purpose. Next slide, please. Next slide, I'm going to show you my 3 stories because, I not only teach in Thailand, but I taught in Korea last year. So story number 1, teaching across cultures, especially in Korea. What challenges I faced? Number 1, the students' reluctance to speak in English in class. I flew from Thailand to teach in Korea. I don't speak Korean. My student cannot speak Thai. So we suppose something in the barrier. And also I face different classroom participation style. Korean students, they study hard and they read a lot and they just like a passive learners. But in Thailand, we prefer to do a passive active learning. So this is the challenging that I was facing, and also language and cultural barriers in the communication that I mentioned before. Also, the challenges is balancing local expectation with communicative and interactive teaching method. Then what did I do? How can I help solve this problem? The strategies is important. The implementation in the classroom that can help me touch them effectively is that number 1, I build trust and respect. So when they trust me and I trust them, so our class goes smoothly. And number 2, I use cultural comparison. So I try to teach them that all cultures or different traditions are beautiful. So we can learn each other, in the good way. And then I encourage participation gently. I'm gently to them. I act funny to them so we can go smooth in the classroom, and I adapt teaching style. I used active learning in my classroom. I use a lot of activities in my Korean lesson, so they are very happy, and so do I. And I'm be patient and flexible, and also I integrate active learning strategies with task-based learning to enhance student encouragement and communicative competence. So what I want to make a conclusion is that when we teach across cultures, we cultivate empathy, adaptability, and a deeper appreciation for the diverse way we learn and grow, right? This is my story number 1. Let's go to story number 2, the teaching in Thailand, implementing CFR and CLT in Thailand. The challenges that what we face, because this is the policy from the Ministry of Education that all English teachers have to change teaching style in the classroom. But what are the challenges? Number 1, teacher language proficiency and confidence, and number 2, limited understanding of CFR and CLT concept. And then examination-oriented education system. You know why? Because we have to teach like communication style. My students have to achieve, like communication proficiency, English proficiency in communication. But the education test, like national test, they do grammar. So this quite, challenging. And number 3, lack of resources and support. And what strategies that teachers should use, I integrated active learning and task-based learning in my classroom. And also I localized CEFR and CLT for Thai classroom. And also I align assessment with communicative competence. And what lesson learned? I phase for story 2, implementing, teaching in Thailand. CFR and CLT are more than frameworks, they are tools that empower teachers and learners to turn language learning into real communication and lifelong skills. And I think this is the right policy of my Ministry of Education in Thailand. And I want to go to my last story number 3, teaching during pandemic. You know why I want to link the changing to show you more. The challenges at that time that I think everybody knew this very well. Okay, let me go to here. Okay, what challenges is the limited access to technology and internet connectivity, right? So I think everybody should face this challenge as well. And number 2, lack of digital literacy. At that time, we feel poor, we feel lack of this, yes. And number 3, reduced student engagement and motivation. And for the poll that Dr. Finita asked you, what the challenges that you face? You say that student motivation, right? Yes, that's the same. And what strategies, we have to do? Adapt flexible and blended learning approaches during the pandemic. And not only that time, this time as well, we have to adopt flexible and blended learning approaches. So what the lesson learned? The pandemic tested our limits, but it's also revealed the strength, creativity, and compassion within every teachers. Yes, thank you that you agree 100%. Thank you. This all for my stories and see you later. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Finita.
Thank you so much, Ajar Vicky, for sharing your stories. It's such a wonderful and useful story for us. So audience, if you share the same story, you faced similar challenges with Ajar Vicky, you can also flood our chat box in Zoom and Facebook, share the challenges that you faced during pandemic probably or throughout your teaching career. So you can just write it on the chat. Now I'm going to invite the second speaker, Miat. Are you ready to share your stories?
Yes.
Okay, then now the screen is yours, Miat.
Thank you, Fanita. And I really believe like many classroom has its own different stories or challenge, and we see that share realities in every day, like starting from the class size, from the manageable to the overloaded, or like limited access, like previously mentioned technology or learning materials, and we surely have the constant pressure, like in our country, high stake, result-driven exams are a part of it. So what we surely have is like teachers' perspective. Like we teachers surely have the endless responsibilities. It's not about in-class teaching type, but we have the piles of the documentation and administrative duties as well, isn't it? So I think like in some cases, I often find it very challenging to maintain work-life balance because in some cases it is really impossible. But then though, like the real thing is like we don't have enough time to give students the kind of the very detailed and the constructive feedback that truly helps them to grow. So from the I really would like to go to the PowerPoint slide, the challenges we face. Yes. So in there, like I surely mentioned just a few bullet points there, like start from the classroom context and how the teacher surely have the workload. And from the teacher perspective as well, they surely have their own limitations and barriers of like progressing things. Like especially focus today here is like writing in English, which feels like navigating a maze of the complex language elements that how my students often say. And some students, they struggle with some of the false align mistakes, and you can see that in the photo that I attached there. And because some of the mistakes for them are really challenging for them to unlearn it. So the process can feel discouraging in some cases and overwhelming. So the question that I ask myself and to some other teachers is very simple, but urgent, I think. How can we provide the effective but individualized writing feedback that address both simple mistakes and complex ideas when both teachers and students are already caring so much. So the question became the starting point of the journey towards the innovation, and a small, but I think a significant attempt to make the learning more supportive and responsive for teachers and students. So the adaptation that I try and see is like, as we all know that like recent changes have surely placed artificial intelligence at the forefront of the modern technologies in the educational setting. So that is something, a true one. But I could say that AI literacy is still a considerable but ethical challenge in Myanmar, and especially in the traditional classroom situation. So out of these challenges, that came a small but the meaningful shift is I tend to make something like hybrid feedback model. It just started with by asking myself like, if time and resources are limited, so how can we make technology a helping hand, not an extra burden, right? So I experimented with combining AI generated feedback with teacher feedback. For example, I use ChatGPT to generate the writing prompts and the model ideas in control setting of the IS class. And I use the AI to design the practice feedback sample, as you can see there. So students could compare their writing with example response. And I also use the tools like the Grammarly and Bricks to give students instant but accessible feedback on the grammar, spelling, and sentence structure. So that surely allows students to see their mistakes right away and learn them independently. So like we shifted our energy of teacher towards a deeper and human aspect of the writing. Like we surely help the students to develop their arguments, ideas, and tones and the creativity things. So in other words, we can simply put like AI took care of the mechanics error and we teacher focus on the meanings thing. So that is how like we tend to do. And what we learn, like finally, the most important thing is like, it's about starting small, using what we have, and focus on the human element. And my goal was not to teach them how to use AI, but to use it to become a more effective teacher. So in this context, this is first, I think, most ethical step towards building AI literacy in my Myanmar context. So in the PowerPoint slide, you can see that this is what we have the hybrid feedback model, and the results are more encouraging than we imagined. So the grammar scores are improved by over 40%, and coherent scores rose by like 23.7%, and along with some moderate gains in vocabulary and organization. And from the post-survey project, like 85% of the students said they would really prefer the integrated feedback model. But then though, like the thing is beyond the numbers, what we saw was a genuine transformation in how students approach the writing. They began to write with more confidence and review the work critically and take ownership of their learning. So that's the point. So the things like the fear of getting it wrong has been slowly turned into the curiosity, how to use this and how to make it better. And I think that's something like I find the most effective information that we learn. So I really would like to just wrap up by the quote from the Dr. Ray Clifford. I tend to put it on the PowerPoint slide, and it's that like, technology will not surely replace teacher, but teacher who use technology effectively will probably replace those who do not. And what I believe, like education in a challenging context, is truly about not perfection, I think, but try to like make adaptation with our heart. So that's how like what we learned. And thank you very much for sharing what I know based on my research. And thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Miat, for sharing your research. And it's so nice to start your presentation mentioning about the work-life balance that we need to maintain, right? We can see that in the chat, whether it's in Zoom and Facebook, many people are sharing the same challenges. You feel that you are on the same, we are on the same boat, right? So it's good
Exactly. Yes.
to share this and be in the same forum like this, talking about challenges that we have and then how we cope with the challenge. If you are in Zoom and Facebook, then you can share whatever challenges that you face or some tips and tricks on how to cope with those challenges that you have. So moving on, we still have one more speaker from Indonesia, Uni Tampi. I'm going to invite Uni to share the stories from your classroom. Uni, the screen and microphone is yours.
Thank you very much, Vinita. Hello, everyone. Greeting from Indonesia. Yes, I'm really happy watching Achan and Miat sharing their inspiring stories earlier. It's great to be part of this panel and to share my story with all of you today. Yeah, like many teachers in Southeast Asia, I teach in a context where curriculum changes often, resources are limited, and my students come with very different needs and backgrounds. One of my biggest challenges is encouraging students who need more confidence and motivations in learning English. Many of my students don't have much opportunity to use English outside the classroom. Because of that, they often feel shy, unsure, or even afraid to speak. Another challenge I face is related to my students' short attention span. They can be very energetic, but also easily distracted. Sometimes they talk with their friends, make noise, or lose focus quickly during activities. And at the same times, today's learners grow up surrounded by technology. They learn fast, but they also expect learning to be instant, visual, and fun. Yeah, to respond to these challenges, I began each lesson with short, fun, warm-up activities to help students relax and to get ready to learn. Then I designed lesson that build confidence by step, starting with a simple, achievable task, so students could experience small success and grow naturally. I also encourage collaborations and student voice through think, pair, share, where students think, discuss, and share their ideas, helping them express themselves and build confidence. I also gave students choice by letting them choose their partner and decide how to present their learning product. And then I also use simple digital tools to make learning more interactive, even when resources were limited. And one thing I learned, especially with teenagers, teenagers are very, very communal. They like to do something together. Yeah, to be listened to them, we need to be part of them, not stand above them. When students feel understood and supported, they open up and start to learn with confidence. Okay, and then what I have learned after I try some changes, I discovered that small steps can create real progress. Even simple routines like warmers, reflections, and positive feedbacks help my student feel successful and more confident to use English. I also learned that connections matter more than perfections. When I started celebrating effort instead of just results, students became more engaged and motivated. And most importantly, I realized that students learn best in a safe and caring environment where they feel understood and valued, not only for what they learn, but also for who they are. That's why for me, adapting and leading change is about reflections and connections. Policies, tools, methods will always evolve by the time, but our purpose as teachers stay the same all the time, which is to help students to feel seen, supported, and capable. So teachers everywhere, don't be afraid of change. Embrace it with curiosity, courage, and compassion. Because when we grow, our students grow with us. I think that's all from me. Thank you for your kind attentions. Back to you, Vinita.
Thank you so much. So we start with Ajahn Vicky mentioning that changes is not something that we need to be afraid of. And then Unitambi mentioned that let's embrace these changes. What a nice collaboration. And also Miat encouraged us to find solution to all to all the problems that we have. One of which is through what we have mentioned here, using technology to engage the students more and improve their learning opportunities. Thank you so much, teachers, for sharing your stories. It is such a wonderful stories. And I believe all of our teachers coming to our session today also have similar stories. We can see that when Uni mentioned about attention span, many of you agree that you are struggling with students' attention span. And then when Miat mentioned about technology, many of you mentioned that yes, you have been helped a lot by the use of technology. All right then. Now, I think I'm just going to move on to the Q&A section. If you have any question, you can post the questions whether in Zoom in the Q&A button, or you can also put your question in Facebook. But meanwhile, I'm going to start with my question. Okay, I think I'm going to ask this question to Miat. You are talking about your research,
yeah.
right? I would like to know, of all the challenges that you have faced, what is one challenge in your context that really required a rapid adaptation? Sometimes we need to slow down, but sometimes we cannot wait and need a very quick adaptation. Do you have any idea about that?
Well, in my context in Myanmar, I could say like there are lots of challenge, but one thing that truly demanded and rapid adaptation is needed was keeping learning alive during the times of instability and digital inequality. Because like many teachers surely face the unstable internet, but it's not only teacher, but student as well, I know, and electricity cuts and very limited access to online tools. And yet we couldn't let the learning stop or those things there. So we adapted quickly using the low touch approach. I think a printed worksheet we have, and I even use like Viber and some messages through the Telegram and to connect and create a community sharing to reach to our students. So through that, I think we learned the adaptation isn't about like having more technology, but I think it is about like more creativity to encourage your students and have a compassion in how we teach. So, I mean, this is, I believe that could be one challenge and how we are adapting.
Yes, I do agree with you. So it's not about the technology, right? But it's
Yeah.
about the creativity of us human in purposing
Yeah.
and repurposing the use of technology for the learning. Thank you so much, Miat. And
You're
I
welcome.
think I'm gonna move on to Uni. Talking about technology, you are coming from Kalimantan. Do you think that you have challenges when you are using technology, or is there any tools that help you a lot while engaging your students despite the constraint of resources, internet connection, and all?
Yes, thank you for the question, Miss Vinita. One thing that really helped my students stay engaged was giving them space to feel capable, make choices, and then connect with others while learning. Yeah, I often use think, pair, share to help them work together. I mean, I give them the time to think first, then I let them to do with their partner, discuss idea, and then work hard together, discuss idea, and build confidence before speaking in front of the class. And I also give some positive feedback after every small success they make, so they feel capable and valued and not afraid to make mistakes. And yeah, talking about tools, I usually use digital tools like Wordwall, Quizzes, Canva, Padlet, and the using of the digital tools are depending on the purpose. Like for example, if my purpose is to make them motivated in learning, so I use Wordwall or Quizzes, yeah, because they are great for fun and interactive games, yeah. And while I want to engage students in teaching and learning activities, I use like Canva for visuals, and then I also use Padlet for reflections. So the using of digital tools are depending our purpose, and then it is not the main part of my activity in the classroom. Nah, yeah, I think that's enough from me, Miss Vinita.
Okay, so it's not technology first, it's the purpose first, the objective first, then the technology will follow. I cannot
Yes.
agree more to you, Yuni. I think I'm going to move on to Ajan Vicky. Ajan Vicky, you mentioned a lot of stories, challenges that you face after 3 years, 30 years of
Right.
right. So how has the adapting to change shape your confidence or identity as teacher or educator? Does it really shape you in being very confident in
Okay.
adapting to change?
Okay. I think one thing that changed me a lot, in Thailand, is our Ministry of Education policy is that all English teachers or most English teachers are required to take English proficiency test based on CMR, and we have to achieve at least B2. This, shape my characters that I have to improve my English skill all the time, because this can prove us that I am qualified and professional in English teacher and lecturers. And also, what they can support me is that when I have this, I can teach my English lesson. Not I teach in English 100% in the classroom. And then when the student learn English from me, the first time when I enter the classroom, they never know that I'm Thai. I'm Thai nationality. They thought I'm from Malaysia or Indonesia, something, because when they believe in my qualification, they think I'm a hero. As some people say that not all heroes wear capes. So we as a teachers, we can heroes in the classroom. We can be a hero in the classroom if the student trusts you. This what I can share with you. Yes, thank you.
I think I have a follow-up question for you, Vicky. This is from Elke Maukar in Zoom here, because you share your experience in teaching in Korea. So he's kind of curious about how you teach those Korean students. Do you keep speaking English facing these Korean students, or you also learn Korea? And then especially when it comes to vocabulary that they don't understand, how are you going to explain it?
Actually, I'm very happy teaching Korean students, even though I know 0% of Korean language and my students know 0% of Thai languages. You know what? I speak English with them, and they try to learn, because learning different cultures, different languages, I think we have to start with that language. And I try to make my classroom with English environment. If they don't understand, I use the interactive activities in the classroom. And I think a few students in the classroom translate for me, because in the classroom there will be some few students can speak or understood English. And also I show you with the authentic materials. For example, I want to teach them with the Thai food like pad Thai. I show them on the iPad first, they learn online, yes. And another day, I cook pad Thai on site, and they try my pad Thai
Whoa.
dish, and they're so happy. So this is the way how I change, the way teaching style in the classroom in Korea. Yes.
Oh, can I sign up to your class and eat pad Thai in your class? I really
I
want
would
it.
like you
Very
saying
welcome.
yes.
Yeah, I think everybody agree. I will sign up to your class. All right, I have questions in Facebook. This is actually addressed for uni, but yet if you also have the same context, then you can jump in. So this is questions from Muhammad Faisal, asking about how can we manage and motivate the class with large number of students. We know that in Indonesia we have large number of students in the classroom. Yet if you have the same context, then you can jump in later. Bu Yuni, what's your tips for us?
Okay, yes, I also teach large classes, consist of around 30 until 35 students. Yeah, teaching large classes are not easy so far because it is related to student learning span, yeah. Nah, and large classes tend to make big noises. Yeah, in this case, the tips is we use digital tools because digital tools, I believe that can be very effective solution to deal with the large classes. Because when we use digital tools, we can help the students to to deal with the students' short attention span. Yeah, if we will use it purposely, for example, like interactive platform like word wall quizzes at the beginning of the lessons, and then to capture student attention. And I teach teenagers in a large numbers, yeah, in the large numbers, yeah, because they like to do something together. So be part of them, make connection with our students, so they if they feel we are one of their group, they will listen to us. Yeah, then and then we try to make a group, yeah, to make a group and then give them in our plan, in our when we plan the lessons. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry because my place is very noise. Anjing,
It's okay.
yeah, my dog is barking. I think that's enough, Miss Pinita. Maybe
Thank
may add
you.
my answers.
Thank you, Uni. We can see in the chat here, Elke mentioned that you have 100 students in the class, and there is another one mentioned that you have 70 students in the class, 70 to 100, 30 to 35. Let's see, Miat, how about in your context? How many students do you have in your class?
It really depends, like especially I just came from the public education system, like where we have like 60 around in a class, in a large theater class. And then what we have is like surely the chairs to write, and that's a lot. So I would like to point out with two things. Like first is like if it is with, like during this day, I have the class with around like 40 or around 45. I think that's a manageable thing, but if it is online, that's too much. And then for that, I surely use kind of the interactive tools like Uni mentioned. So I think like if it is online, it is really quite effective to use the interactive tools and let them to participate in every single slots that the teacher prepared. But then like if it is in class, something like in-person thing, and well, we have many considerations like whether is the AI tools or technology really available, or do you have a Wi-Fi in your classroom? So these are the considerable things. If we have those facilities, then we can surely continue to use the offline games or offline learning things. And if we don't have that facilities, we surely just stick to the in-class activities where teachers can surely manage very well. I think, of course, like, it will surely take time to prepare things before you jump into the class, but surely we can manage by classroom seating arrangement, or we try to use a particular methods. And I think that could be one of the ways a teacher can really handle, but then though, very stressful. Yeah. I just really agree what you mentioned previously. Yes.
Thank you, Miat. And we can see that many of the participants here agree with big classes. And if you know any tips, you can just jump in here in the chat, whether it's in Facebook or Zoom. Just let us know what your best practices handling 100 students, 60 students, 70 students, and all. And it's funny that we really share our challenges here. Not only challenges in the classroom, but challenges with the dog. Many of the audience feel the same way. They love your dog, Uni, don't worry. All right. I have one pretty challenging question here. This is from Tri Anjara. She mentioned that I feel that adapting to change is something teacher hear all the time, but sometimes it's like oversimplified, almost like a buzzword. In your experience, anyone can start. What's the biggest myth about adapting to change in education? Do you find any myth in adapting to change? It's just a buzzword. Ajahn Vicky, do you want to start?
Adapting what? Adapting?
adapting to change when it is just a buzzword. What is the myth that you think the biggest myth in adapting to change?
I think like what I can say is appropriated to change. I think, actually, like I mentioned before, we as a teacher in the classroom, we have to face many challenges in the classroom, even in Thai classroom. We have different student family backgrounds. You have big classes for 100 students, 70 students, 40 students, or 25 students. Each or individual students have different characters, different family backgrounds. So if we understand each of them, it will be easier for us to improve and brush up their English skill or any knowledge skills. I used to say that, we as a teacher, we getting older and older, right? Our age, get older, but the students that we accept every year are the same. We getting older, and then other years 17, and we getting older, other years 17 students, 17 years old student. So their age is like the same age every year. So we as a lecturer or teacher, we have to adapt ourselves to be at the same age with the students. It will be easier to teach them, because if we are friendly to them, we make friends with them, it's easy to change, easy to adapt our classroom teaching style in the classroom. And I want to talk to Brian Keith, like because he wants to teach in Thailand. I'm going to say that my university is looking for English lecturer as well. If you want to apply for next semester, very welcome. Yes. All right, that's all for
Thank
my
you.
answer today.
Thank you, Ajar. And that is so true, right? We are getting older each year, but our students,
Yes.
their
Yeah, it
age
should
are
go like
stay the
this.
same. And Uni mentioned that we should be their friend, be part of them, and staying relevant, staying young, staying in touch with our students is another challenge, right? The gap is getting wider and wider. Biak, do you have any idea about what is actually a myth in adapting to change?
Yes, I'm just thinking, like, there's one thing that people often say, like, the misconception something is like adapting to change in education, especially we teacher faces, like, teacher must adapt and change it quickly. So I don't really think like we can change things very quickly, right? We surely need time to digest for what we have to change first, and then how we can change it. Is there any support available in the area, or like will there be any like sources or resources that you have? And I think like we teacher also can change things very quickly, and it surely take time. Like in order to like try to share what we know today, maybe we have to prepare things a year ahead or something, like maybe more than that. In order to present a research, the researcher, they surely have to like develop their hypothesis for many years. Like, so I don't really think like one of the misconception or called as a myth is like, we teacher must change things quickly, try to adapt things quickly. So that's something that I think I feel concerned about it.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. So yeah, usually people give a suggestion like you need to be flexible, you have to be able to
Yeah.
adapt things quickly, but it's not that easy. It's a
It
process,
is.
like Elke mentioned
Yeah.
here. It's a process. Sometimes we cannot really change and adapt to whatever happening to us, but sometimes we just live with that, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Can I
Uni, do
share
you have any idea?
something?
Yeah. Oh, okay. But Ajahn Vicky, go ahead.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Talking about adapting that we have to, it's quite challenging for us. And what we need as an English teacher or teacher in the classroom, we need, systematic support from our head, from our, government for it, in our own country. In my university, I want to say that I think I meet up with the best solution support at my university, because the class size at my university, they reduced into 25 students in the classroom. And all English lecturers have to conduct teaching in English only, no Thai words or only English 100%. And with 25 students, we can teach them individually and support them individually every session, every classes, my student can speak, have a chance to speak up, have a chance to talk, have a chance to write, individually, and I can see each of them closely. I can improve this one of the support, systematic support, I think that I want to share. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. That's very supportive, and I believe everyone's agree with you. Ibu Yuni, do you have anything in a very short time? Do you have anything to share about the myth on adapting to change?
Yeah, the the myth about adapting to change. I was adjusting my teaching method in fit new technology and student learning styles. Yeah, at first it was difficult because my students' spans was short, and digital tools were new for me. And it is added by the curriculum changes. But then I tried to learn step by step. I also ask for help from AI. How, for example, if the student's condition is like this, how do I teach them? And then if I want to teach this material for example, for 8th grader students, so how do I teach them? So AI will help me to teach them. Now, and AI help me to easier to make teaching easier than before. Then when I tried step by step and then joining training session and experience with interactive tools like many digital tools suggested by any other expert. Now I see using using the technology actually helps my students to be engaged and help me as well to play my roles in the classroom. I think that's enough from me, Miss Pinita.
Okay, again, another process, right? There is nothing
Yeah.
that we can do in a very fast, so we need to do it in process. So just like Josephine here mentioned, that I believe that adapting means changing our strategy to suit our students' level and needs. Thank you so much for sharing this. It's a very lovely sharing. It's not only from us, the panelists, but also from all the teachers joining our session. So thank you so much. I wish I could have more hours to go for answering questions from all the audience. Let's give big round of applause for all the panelists here. Thank you so much to the panelists for those inspiring words and everyone here. Let's end our final reflection. You can flood the chat saying that the kind of changes that you have or the key takeaways that you have from this session. So thank you for all the collaboration, and this collaboration remind us how connected and resilient our teachers community is, and always adapting, always learning together. And I have to hand over the session back to Buyung for the closing. Thank you, everyone.
Great, wonderful. Thank you very much, Mbak Vinita, Achan, Vicky, Miat, and Ibu Yuni for that insightful discussions. I was sitting back and listening to all of you with a lot of awe, and also not only from the stories that you shared, but also what as you mentioned, Mavin, about the stories from all the teachers joining us today. So thank you for all of your participation. Now, before we close, I would like to cover and explain how you can access your certificate for today's session. So first, scan the QR code on the screen. I hope my screen is visible. To access our post-event survey, and after completing, yes, right, sorry, I haven't pressed share apparently. So scan the QR code I displayed now to access our post-event survey. And then after completing the survey, you will see a thank you message with a link to download your certificate. First, after submitting, you will see the link to download the certificate, and then open that using PDF browser such as Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. and then delete the placeholder text with your name and surname, and then change it with your name in the gray box and save it to personalize your certificate. Your feedback to the sessions and the overall conference is valuable, and so please do take a moment to complete the survey. It helped us improve the future events. And as I mentioned, that today is the penultimate. We will still have one more session this evening, and also another 2 sessions tomorrow. And the next sessions is entitled "How to Be Human, Being Ourselves in an AI-Mediated World" by the one and only Jeremy Harmer, and I'm sure all of you know him. So this will be at 6 Jakarta, Bangkok, and Hanoi time. So make sure that you don't miss it. So thank you again all for joining us today and for your active engagement. Let's enjoy the rest, the 3 sessions of the ASEAN Teaching English Online Conference today and tomorrow. And let's make the best use of the conference to be a valuable and transformative experience for everyone. Enjoy the upcoming sessions. Thank you very much.